I met my wife at that.
Hello, folks. It's Jerusalem Day, 5/24/2017, and this is the day that Jerusalem is restored to Israel. So that was 50 years ago, and of course, UN Security Council Resolution 237 on Feast of Weeks in 1967. That would be the decree to rebuild Jerusalem. That is in Daniel 9:25. And so here we are 50 years later. Another Feast of Weeks is starting up next weekend. So May 31st, another Feast of Weeks. And it'll be the 50th year, the beginning of Jubilee year. I think it's the beginning of Jubilee year anyway. Of course, I'm guessing. It's been thousands of years since the Creator gave us the biblical calendar, and who knows if we're very accurate, but 50 years ago, Jerusalem was restored to Israel, so it's very probable that is the Jubilee year in the next couple of weeks. Either this week we're part of a Jubilee, or next week we'll be part of a Jubilee. Anyway, I thought I'd share. The other part of Daniel 9:25 that's been fulfilled is the wall around Jerusalem built in troublous times. That would be the West Bank barrier. It's about 700 kilometers, about 430 miles, a long wall, and it wiggles its way around Jerusalem. So, and it's built in troublous times, right? Because they're trying to reduce the violence in Israel. But here we are, 50 years later. Biblical prophecies in the Bible being fulfilled, Daniel 9:25. So it's, the way it's translated in King James Version of English, it says Messiah the Prince comes, but the word underneath that is actually anointed one. So some kind of ruler, perhaps Jesus, but I doubt if Jesus is coming back this weekend. It's possible, but some rulers coming. 7 sevens and 62 sevens. So there's a lot of different possible combinations there. The actual word for week in Hebrew can mean 7 days, 7 years, or the yearly Feast of Weeks. That's why having those, the UN Security Council resolution on Feast of Weeks is such a big deal. It's a literal fulfillment of Daniel 9:25, UN Security Council 237, which calls for the return of refugees to Israel and including Jerusalem, so that they can rebuild their lives, including, of course, the cities that they lived in after the hostilities had ended. So that was 50 years ago, folks. 50 years. Holy cow. So 7 sevens and 62 sevens. What does it mean? Well, one theory is it's 49 years and 62 weeks. Another theory is it's 62 years. I'm starting to lean toward the 62-year theory because the covenant with many was confirmed on Feast of Weeks 2009 by the first meeting of the BRICS alliance. That's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And they met for the first time. That's about 40% of the world's population. And they had their first security meeting on Feast of Weeks, preceding their summit meeting, which was a couple weeks later, where the world leaders came and met. But interestingly enough, at that covenant confirmed with many in 2009 on Feast of Weeks, Dmitry Medvedev met with the various leaders at that security meeting in Russia for Brazil, Russia, India, and China, their first alliance meeting And of course, he has a Jewish background. So, from the perspective, looking at it from the perspective, trying to look at it from the perspective of the authors who were Jewish, when they see a Jewish person in leadership, they take note. It would be what I'm trying to communicate. So, Dmitry Medvedev being a leader of one of the most powerful nations on the planet, Russia, and meeting with these other people and beginning this alliance on Feast of Weeks, and confirming a covenant with many, they took note. Okay, Daniel took note, and what other prophets may have seen those events in the future. It's significant. It's very significant. Not that Medvedev is a practicing Jewish person. I think he's Greek Orthodox, or no, Russian Orthodox. But that his parents, or at least his mother, there's some Jewish roots there with Medvedev. Anyway, biblically important. Same thing's true with a lot of the other people you see and you hear about in the cultural references. You got the Antichrist, the Beast. Those are probably Jewish related as well, just because they would have been recognizable to people thousands of years ago. Hey, these people have some cultural similarities in the sense that the way that they're viewing some things, that type of thing. What else? So the other part of that Daniel 9:27, the covenant confirmed with many, is that, of course, Brazil, Russia, India, and China have been leading the world away from the idolatrous abomination, which is currency worship, but specifically U.S. dollar currency worship. They're leading the world away to worship a new currency and commit adultery, or not, well, idolatry rather, in that, in that sense. So yeah, one abomination for another abomination is basically the leaders of this world's idea of progress. Meanwhile, just millions of people are starving to death on the planet, and these leaders do nothing. It's utterly abominable, disgusting. With modern technology, there's no reason anyone is starving to death on the planet, other than people are just wicked people. We need to make better decisions. Jesus is coming back, and of course he'll help a lot of people make better decisions when he comes back as well. But it'll help you now if you want to make better decisions in your life. And that might not be what you're looking for. But it's probably going to be the best thing for you, is to make better decisions in Jesus Christ. So I hope you'll make that choice today. Again, 50 years after Jerusalem's restored to Israel. There's a lot going on in the world. You've got national IDs being pushed out by the banks. Basically, the big banks are pushing and encouraging nations to enroll the people in national ID programs for their benefit, for the bank's benefit, not for your benefit. You've got 1 billion people in China who've been forced to receive 6 + 6 + 6 equals 18-digit citizen identity numbers. So repent, China. Stop doing that. That's idiotic, altogether evil. And you got 1.1 billion people in India who just in the last 7 years, since that 2009 Feast of Weeks meeting that confirmed a covenant with Brazil, Russia, India, and China, India has enrolled 1.1 billion people in a national identity card program. And they actually scan the irises in the forehead. So you've got the beast with 2 horns. Brazil, you've got those 2 ginormous populous nations right there, China and India, sharing a border, entering into that alliance, leading the world away from the U.S. dollar, setting up a new currency, a new image of the beast, that rises up out of the earth, Brazil and China. So it's got two horns. And then they're marking everyone with national identity cards. And then, of course, you got America over on the other side of the planet, beast that rises up out of the sea. And of course, the United States dollar has been an image that has been worshipped around the world for 70 years, 80 years, a long time now. At one point, the U.S. dollar accounted for about 90% of the currency transactions on the planet. That is a lot of abominations going on around the world from the United States. Idolatrous, people are worshiping it. We need to make better decisions, people. And like I said, you can't have 7 million people starving to death on the planet. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The whole Pacific Ocean is dying, fulfilling, the 6th great earthquake. You got the first trumpet, which would be lumps like thyroid nodules or lung cancer. The word hail can mean lump, right? Okay. And then you got the second trumpet. You've got what do you got? You got a third of the sea creatures dying. That's probably happened or is happening. Fukushima alone had 8 reactor cores melt down, and that's huge. But they don't talk about it hardly ever. It's an ongoing crisis of biblical proportions, and you don't hear about it in your churches. This is probably the only place you're going to hear about it, or one of the few places. Maybe there's 100 places if you're really looking. Anyway, so I hope you'll choose Christ and make better decisions, and I hope that you will like and subscribe and share the video. Best regards, folks. Bye.